Life is sustained by death. That is the brutal cycle of the natural world. Who will step forward into tomorrow? Who will be left behind forever? As the last defiant stars cling to the deep indigo silk of the sky, the Serengeti air carries the bone-chilling cold of a desert night. Beneath a drifting veil of mist draped across thousands of square miles of grassland, all living things remain submerged in a sacred stillness. Then the boundary between night and day is torn apart. The first ray of sunlight crests the horizon, transforming dewdrops on elephant grass into billions of shattered diamonds. This is the most perilous threshold when the hunters of darkness have not yet retreated, and the creatures of light have already begun their day. A herd of Thompson's gazelles cautiously nibble the first tender shoots of grass. Their ears twitch ceaselessly, rotating like living radar dishes. They have every reason for vigilance. This fragile morning calm is the ideal stage for the plains' most sharp-eyed killer. A 1,000 feet away, concealed beneath a tuft of withered grass, a cheetah lowers its center of gravity. Its sandy gold coat, dappled with black spots, renders it virtually invisible. Amber eyes lock onto a young gazelle straying from the herd. The cheetah knows that with its slender frame, it stands no chance in close combat. It must rely on absolute speed. Belly nearly touching the ground, it creeps forward. The distance shrinks to 200 feet. The wind shifts. The Thompson's gazelle lifts its head, but it is already too late. The cheetah explodes. From a standing start, it reaches 68 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, an acceleration that outstrips every supercar ever built by human hands. Its flexible spine coils and extends like a massive spring, launching the body 23 feet through the air with every stride. The long tail whips through the air, maintaining flawless balance through lethal hairpin turns. The chase ends in 15 savage seconds. The Thompson's gazelle crumbles, coated in red dust. But the cheetah's victory comes at a punishing cost. Its heart hammers at 200 beats per minute. Its body burns as though it might ignite. The cheetah gasps open-mouthed, eyes darting in every direction. It must swallow each morsel in frantic haste. On these plains, the scent of fresh blood in the morning mist is a dinner bell that rouses far larger and more brutal thieves. The sun climbs higher, banishing the last traces of cold. The mist dissolves, yielding to a heat that begins to radiate fiercely from the earth. Thousands of zebras fall into single file, embarking on their endless march toward water. Under the blazing sun, their black and white stripes weave together into a massive optical illusion, confounding blood-sucking tsetse flies and deceiving the eyes of predators from afar. Without warning, the ground trembles faintly. Not a sound carried through the air, but deep vibrations pulsing through the cracked earth below. From a stand of acacia thorns, a herd of African elephants emerges in measured stride. Leading them is the aged matriarch, weighing over 4 tons. Each of her footfalls seems capable of crushing everything beneath it. Yet the herd glides forward in eerie silence. Thick pads of fatty tissue beneath their feet absorb every sound, transforming these giants into phantoms in broad daylight. The matriarch is the living encyclopedia of the entire herd. Within her vast brain lies a detailed map of the last underground water sources and life-or-death routes memorized over decades. Calves amble along behind, curling tiny trunks around their mother's legs, sheltering beneath the towering shade of the adults. In stark contrast to the tense world of predators, elephants communicate through deep familial bonds and low-frequency rumbles that resonate through the chest, traveling dozens of miles. The sun reaches its zenith. The Serengeti transforms into a furnace. Ground temperatures surge past 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Superheated air rises in shimmering waves, bending the horizon and blurring every silhouette across the landscape. At this punishing hour, all activity on the plains appears to halt. Every creature strains to conserve energy. Beneath the spreading canopy of an ancient acacia, a pride of lions lies immersed in deep slumber. They sprawl belly up, legs splayed wide, chests rising and falling in steady rhythm with each breath. Lions are nature's supreme idlers. They can sleep 16 to 20 hours a day. In the scorching heat, these rulers have no reason to hurry. They surrender the plains to the merciless sun. But then, a low rumble drifts in from the distance. The ear membrane of a lioness twitches. Her amber eyes snap open. Not far away, a herd of Cape buffalo, the beast dubbed the Black Death of Africa, trudges steadily toward a shallow waterhole. The smell of dust, mingled with the musky scent of buffalo, drifts on the wind. A gnawing hunger that has festered for days in the pride's bellies suddenly surges, overpowering even the suffocating heat. The lionesses rise to their feet. Their languid demeanor vanishes in an instant, replaced by coiled muscle and the cold-eyed focus of killers. Silence is the only language they use to coordinate formation. They slink from the shade and advance into the sea of parched, cracked grass. Hundreds of buffalo mass together, forming a wall of horn and dark muscle. Sensing danger, the largest bulls step forward to the front line, snorting in warning. A full-grown Cape buffalo weighs nearly a ton, armed with curved, armored horns capable of puncturing a rib cage and hurling a lion skyward. The lions fan out, watching in grim patience. They are not foolish enough to charge a wall of steel. They wait for panic. And the mistake arrives when an old buffalo, its eyesight failing, falls out of step and drifts to the rear of the herd. Instantly, golden shadows spring from the withered grass. The herd bellows in terror. Red dust billows as the buffalo scatter, leaving behind one frail elder severed from the formation. This hunt does not end in seconds like the contest between cheetah and gazelle. This is a clash of raw power, prolonged, ferocious, and draining. One lioness after another lunges in to pin and hold. Multiple jaws clamp simultaneously around the prey's throat. The giant's strength slowly ebbs. Its legs tremble, then buckle into the red dust. At last, the massive body lies still upon the plains. The pride releases its grip, panting hard. Chests heave after minutes of struggle beneath the scorching midday sun. The gamble taken in the brutal heat has been repaid with a meal large enough to sustain the entire pride for days to come. The sun sinks like a ball of fire dropping into the grass tops. The sky erupts in shades of tangerine, blood red, and charcoal violet. Shadows of baobab trunks stretch long across the earth, drawing dark borders between life and death. The transfer of power is swift. Herbivores huddle together, horns facing outward. As darkness deepens, their vision narrows. By contrast, the night is an ally to those who stalk. On a hillside, a clan of spotted hyenas begins to stir. Shattering the myth that they are mere scavengers, spotted hyenas are in truth formidable hunting machines. The clan greets one another with cackling, high-pitched laughter. It is the language of tactics and anticipation. Tonight, with stamina that knows no limit, they will run for miles on end. Not far away, a jet-black form glides along an acacia branch without a whisper of sound. The leopard, the consummate assassin of the dark. With staggering neck strength, it grips the carcass of an adult impala weighing nearly 130 pounds, hauling it straight up into a tree 50 feet above the ground, out of reach of hyenas. Its prize secured, the leopard licks its lips, green eyes gleaming cold beneath the first emerging stars. Night descends thick and heavy, temperatures plunge. The Serengeti sinks beneath silver moonlight and the Milky Way arching overhead. For the great cats, a reflective membrane behind the retina, the tapetum lucidum, harvests every faint photon of the night, granting them vision far superior to that of their prey. Standing tall upon a rocky outcrop thrust against the starlit sky, the dominant male lion raises his head. His whiskers quiver in the cold wind, his dark mane billows. His enormous chest swells. He dips his head, forces a column of air through his larynx, and unleashes it. A cascade of deep, thunderous sound rolls across the Serengeti night. That roar is not a threat. It is a declaration of sovereignty that echoes across the entire plains. The roar fades, dissolving into the night wind of the Serengeti. Another day passes, yet the wheel of life has never ceased turning. Beneath a canopy of stars, the death of one continues to nourish the life of another. Here, nature inscribes its own irrefutable law, awaiting the next dawn to open a new chapter in the struggle for survival. Here, nature inscribes its own irrefutable law, awaiting the next dawn to open a new chapter in the struggle for survival. On the Serengeti, the lion is the emblem of power displayed. Its roar is the law, its daylight presence a warning that needs no translation. But power does not always belong to the loudest, nor does it always belong to the largest. Elsewhere on this planet, across the Atlantic, in the heart of Central America, a different king reigns. Not through roar, not through spectacle, but through absolute silence. Panama, a narrow land bridge joining two continents, dividing two oceans, a geological crossroads that nature spent millions of years forging. Its name, in the indigenous tongue, means a place of abundant fish, yet this land conceals far more than the ocean reveals. The Darien rainforest sprawls across more than 1.4 million acres, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1981. Sunlight never reaches the forest floor here. It is swallowed by a multi-layered canopy, where towering sabre trees rise to 200 feet, sometimes 230. Temperatures range from 75 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Rain falls without pause, 70 to 200 inches each year. "670 bird species, 169 mammal species, the densest ecosystem in Central America." The drone of insects, the calls of birds, the drumming of rain on leaves, all merge into an unbroken wall of sound that never ceases. But behind that wall of sound, silence is stalking, and in the mangrove forest, silence is the herald of death. This is a land where the most dangerous hunters need not roar, need not chase. They only need to wait. And when they strike, nothing escapes that silence. Who truly rules this land? The answer lies not with the largest or the fastest, but with the most patient. In the shifting mosaic of light and shadow beneath the lowest canopy of the Darien, a pair of amber eyes watches in silence. The jaguar, the uncrowned sovereign of the Central American rainforest, no roar announces its presence, no golden mane catches the sunlight, only a form that nearly dissolves into the labyrinth of leaves and shade. Its golden coat, marked with black rosettes, is more than beauty. It is a unique genetic fingerprint. Each individual carries a distinct pattern, allowing it to merge into the play of light and darkness beneath the tropical canopy. The Darien jaguar is the largest in Central America. Males can reach 200 pounds, significantly heavier than the regional average of roughly 125. Amber eyes ceaselessly scan the gaps between tree trunks, detecting the faintest movement amid countless layers of leaves and vines. It glides across the leaf litter in near total silence. Each footfall is placed with almost surgical precision. But today, this king's target is not a peccary or a deer. It is another predator lurking beneath the river's surface. The spectacled caiman, the only rival bold enough to share the Darien kingdom. Both predators freeze at the water's edge, the jaguar hidden in the underbrush, the caiman submerged in murky water. Beneath the surface, the caiman is a flawless biological sensor. Around its jaws lie thousands of ultra-sensitive receptor organs, integumentary sensory organs. These sensors function like a primitive radar system refined over 200 million years of evolution, capable of detecting vibrations as minute as 4/1000ths of an inch on the water's surface. Any creature that barely grazes the water, the caiman knows. Two patient predators wait for the other to make a mistake. Then the moment arrives. The caiman shifts slightly, exposing the nape of its neck above the waterline. The jaguar launches like a bolt of lightning, Water erupts in a white explosion. A hunting technique unique among all cats. Minutes later, the jaguar drags its prize ashore and vanishes silently into the old-growth darkness. The jaguar's ecological role extends far beyond hunting. By controlling herbivore populations and subordinate predators, it protects the forest understory. When the understory is preserved, the towering sabers have space to reach the sky, and in those saber crowns, millions of creatures find refuge. Like an invisible architect, the jaguar shapes an entire forest without ever laying a single brick. Its presence is order, its absence is chaos. Since time immemorial, the Embera people and the Guna have revered the jaguar as a forest deity. Its image is carved into ancient stone and woven into traditional mola textiles, a symbol of strength and wisdom. Yet the International Union for Conservation of Nature has classified the jaguar as near threatened. The Darien territory is being torn apart by deforestation. Every acre lost is another fragment of a crumbling kingdom. The perfect counterpart to the king of the ground is the sovereign of the sky, the harpy eagle, the most powerful raptor in the Americas. Panama's national symbol since 2002, the harpy eagle builds its nest atop ceiba trees at heights of 100 to 140 feet, where no creature dares approach. Its talons are as long as a grizzly bear's claws, roughly 5 inches, with a grip force equal to a crocodile's jaws. It can carry prey weighing 3/4 of its own body weight. Sweeping through the canopy on broad wings, the harpy eagle scans every gap in the foliage below, hunting sloths and monkeys, creatures that believe themselves perfectly hidden. But the Darien possesses an early warning system that even the eagle cannot defeat. The howler monkey. A roar shatters the stillness, carrying 2 to 3 miles through the dense forest. The secret lies in the hyoid bone, a structure in the larynx 10 times larger than in other primates, acting as a natural amplifier that projects the call through miles of thick canopy. Each clan of 10 to 15 individuals forms an acoustic network. When one spots a harpy eagle, the entire forest is alerted within seconds. This is the only species in the Darien that deliberately breaks the silence. For the howler monkey, that roar is not weakness, it is a weapon. But the howler's role extends far beyond sentry duty. They are the silent architects of the forest, each group dispersing roughly 13,000 seeds over 4 months through their digestive tracts. When the dry season arrives, nutrient-rich young leaves and fruit gradually vanish. Howlers are forced to switch to older, tougher, more bitter foliage. To conserve energy, they reduce activity by up to 80%, spending most of their time motionless among the branches. But the Darien is not the only place in Panama that harbors masters of silence. Higher up, where clouds do not drift across the sky but rest upon the earth, an entirely different world awaits. The Cordillera de Talamanca, the stone spine linking Costa Rica and Panama, risen from millions of years of tectonic upheaval. This is the highest non-volcanic mountain range in Central America. Cerro Chirripó reaches 12,530 feet, piercing the cloud layer like a finger pointing at the heavens. Between 2,500 and 10,000 feet, cloud forest cloaks everything. Clouds do not float above, they settle on the ground, wrapping around tree trunks, seeping into every crevice of leaf. This region lies within La Amistad International Park, a UNESCO heritage site since 1983, the largest reserve in Central America, holding 20% of the region's total biodiversity. Temperatures drop to 64 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Primeval trees drape in green moss. Wild orchids bloom in the mist. Here, light cannot penetrate. It diffuses into something spectral, dim, and soft as silk. And through that light, a creature glides through the fog, trailing a ribbon of silk nearly 3 feet long. The resplendent quetzal, emerald plumage reflects a metallic sheen as the wings turn. a deep crimson breast. Tail streamers ripple with every wing beat. The Maya and the Aztec worshipped this bird as a deity and a symbol of absolute freedom. Legend holds that a Quetzal's heart stops before it accepts captivity. During the breeding season, from March through June, males perform spectacular aerial displays while projecting resonant calls to attract females. Nests are placed in cavities of centuries-old trees, natural fortresses concealed within a protective veil of mist. Both male and female take turns incubating eggs and rearing chicks with uncommon devotion. The Quetzal does not hunt large prey. It does not dominate the forest through force. Yet, in the mist-shrouded cloud forest, its emerald plumage blends into the moss and foliage, allowing one of Central America's most brilliant birds to vanish from sight in mere seconds. The stability of the Quetzal population mirrors the health of the entire cloud forest. When Quetzals disappear, it signals an ecosystem in decline. Beauty concealed. It is the most elegant survival strategy that evolution has ever devised. A few feet away, hanging upside down from a moss-covered branch, another creature has chosen an entirely opposite strategy. The two-toed sloth, absolute silence. 80% of its life spent suspended upside down from the highest branches. Moss and microorganisms coating its fur create a ghostly green camouflage, transforming the sloth into an extension of the very branch it clings to. It moves so slowly that it deceives the senses of every predator. The harpy eagle, the killer from above, will pass it by, so long as the sloth remains patient enough not to stir. Its digestive system takes roughly 30 days to process a single leaf 4 times slower than previously understood. Only once every 7 to 8 days does the sloth accept the risk of descending to the ground to defecate, the most dangerous moment of its entire life. Its droppings become a vital source of nutrients for the forest floor. If the jaguar is the master of silence in the hunt, the sloth is the master of silence in life itself. Patience taken to the absolute extreme, the pinnacle of the silent survival strategy. If the commanding silence of these creatures fascinates you as well, Share your thoughts in the comments below. From the cloud forest summit, the journey descends. Where land meets sea, another world opens more desolate, more perilous, and more silent than anywhere on land. Mangrove forest. Mangle rojo, mangle blanco, mangle negro. Weave their roots through the mud, creating an underwater labyrinth of skeletal architecture. Panama holds 12 of the world's 65 recognized mangrove species, remarkable diversity for such a small nation. Pacific tides fluctuate up to 16 feet each day, transforming the mangroves into a world in constant flux, submerged one moment, roots exposed the next. The vast root system functions as a colossal net, trapping every particle of sediment. Below, millions of juvenile creatures, shrimp, crabs, fish fry, shelter in the dark crevices. This is the ocean's nursery. Every marine food chain begins at these roots. Beneath the tangled roots nurturing that living nursery, swift currents beckon toward a far wider horizon. Where the land truly ends, and the ocean begins. The coral reefs off Panama's coast, where brain coral curves into fossilized labyrinths, and staghorn coral extends limestone arms into the warm current. Thousands of small organisms shelter in the crevices of coral, an underwater city whose survival depends on two silent architects. The green sea turtle Chelonia midas, its shell spanning 3 to 4 feet, rarely reaching 5. It glides across the seabed, trimming seagrass with the precision of a gardener. Each grazing ritual lasts for hours, patient, silent. The ocean offers no gratitude, yet the seabed cannot survive without that care. Without green sea turtles, dense seagrass would choke water flow, killing coral from within. They are the invisible architects of the ocean. The hawksbill turtle possesses a narrow beak like that of a hawk, specialized for feeding on sponges that no other species can reach. If hawksbill turtles vanish, sponges will proliferate unchecked, smothering every coral branch until the reef becomes a bleached limestone graveyard. This ocean custodian now faces the threat of extinction. The hawksbill turtle IUCN classification, critically endangered. The leatherback turtle vulnerable globally, critically endangered in the eastern Pacific. Sand temperatures have risen nearly 4 degrees Fahrenheit over the past 3 decades. The result, more than 90% of hatchlings are female, a collapsing sex ratio that threatens to eliminate the reproductive capacity of an entire lineage. If this trend continues, a species that survived 5 mass extinctions will not survive the 6th, the extinction caused by humankind. But beyond the reef, in deeper waters where light fades into a profound blue, an immense shadow is rising. The humpback whale, 46 to 56 feet long, weighing approximately 40 tons, a towering spout tears through the ocean surface. They have just completed a 5,000-mile migration from the polar regions, one of the longest voyages in the animal kingdom. Panama is the only place on Earth where humpback whales from both hemispheres converge, a grand reunion in the heart of the tropical ocean. But the migration route is never safe. Sharks patrol the corridor, waiting for a moment of vulnerability from newborn calves. A newborn humpback enters the world at nearly 13 feet long, weighing 1 to 2 tons. From its very first breath, it faces ambush. The mother humpback transforms her own body into a fortress prepared to crush any predator that dares approach. Each tail slap is a biological depth charge, generating shock waves powerful enough to stun sharks within a radius of dozens of feet. But that tail slap is more than a weapon. It pumps nutrients from the ocean floor to the surface, feeding phytoplankton, nourishing coral, sustaining the very ecosystem that sea turtles are working to protect. And then, in the darkness of the deep ocean, a song begins. Profound, mournful, audible across hundreds of nautical miles. Each song lasts 20 minutes, repeated for hours without pause, a declaration of existence before the vast and indifferent sea. No one knows precisely why humpback whales sing. To attract a mate, to mark territory, or perhaps simply to confirm that they are still alive amid the boundless ocean. But Panama harbors another intelligence beneath the waves, the bottlenose dolphin, the species with the second highest encephalization quotient after humans. Each pod develops its own coded language, combining high-frequency signature whistles with distinctive tail movements. No two pods communicate alike. When a member is injured, the entire pod forms a protective circle, using their bodies to lift their companion to the surface to breathe. They will fight sharks to the death to defend one another. Bottlenose dolphins become tacticians, herding fish into a bait ball, a swirling sphere with no escape. Not bubbles, but coordination precise to the millisecond. Once the corral is sealed, dolphins take turns darting into the center to feed, while the rest maintain the perimeter. None eats before its turn. This cooperation is not built on blind instinct, it is built on trust. Trust that a companion will not break formation. Young dolphins learn strategy through observation, a process of cultural transmission that transforms the pod into an educated society. In the world of the ocean, where silence is often mistaken for the absence of communication, the clicks and whistles of dolphins form a living library of knowledge. The complexity of their social structure mirrors the splendor of the ecosystem in which they live. But that splendor is under grave threat. Near the Panama Canal, more than 13,000 vessels each year create a wall of acoustic pollution. Man-made noise overwhelms the echolocation frequencies that dolphins depend upon. Their acoustic weaponry, the tool that enables them to hunt, communicate, and protect one another, is paralyzed by engine roar and propeller wash. When humans create noise, the ocean's masters of sound lose their voice. And in the world of dolphins, to lose a voice is to lose a life. Every year, thousands of acres of forest disappear. Green corridors are fractured into small, isolated fragments, forcing wildlife into ever fiercer competition for survival. Resource extraction, infrastructure expansion, and climate change continue to press upon ecosystems already stretched to their limit. The impact does not stop at animals. When forests shrink, water sources shift. When seas warm, coral reefs weaken. Every link lost sends ripples of consequence cascading through the entire ecosystem. But Panama's story is not solely one of loss. Across the country, protected areas, ecological corridors, and restoration programs are steadily reconnecting fragmented landscapes. Forests are regenerating in many regions. Wildlife is beginning to return to areas that were once abandoned. These efforts prove a simple truth. When nature is given a chance, life can recover at a staggering pace. As night falls, the Darien rainforest sinks once more into its familiar stillness. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of a world still governed by laws as old as time. And that, perhaps, is Panama's greatest strength. A land where life does not announce itself with roars or grand displays, but endures through persistence, equilibrium, and an unceasing capacity to heal. provided there remains space for nature to continue. Thank you for joining Nature Moments. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told. We will see you on the next journey. A moonless night blankets the Savute Basin like an absolute black shroud, devoid of light, completely devoid of silhouette. In this darkness, the earth trembles beneath the deliberate footsteps of dozens of elephants traversing the parched terrain. They are entirely unaware they are being watched. Dozens of luminescent green eyes close in from three sides. Staying low, the Savute lions tightening their ambush in absolute silence. The scent of old blood lingers, remnants of a hunt 3 nights prior, where a 4-year-old calf fell mere strides away. Here, the savanna's laws are written with fangs and memory, with strategy and patience honed over decades. Overcome the giants or collapse under your own pressure. What truly grants wildlife a chance to survive? The answer lies not with the strongest or most numerous, but where raw might fails and intellect awakens. From Botswana's scorching Savute Basin, where lions challenge giants, to the sweltering Zambezi Valley, where young predators learn survival from scratch. And finally, to Zambia's remote South Luangwa, where a solitary hunter proves that silence can overpower an entire pack. Three wildernesses, 3 different rules, 3 forms of intelligence dictating who lives and who falls. The journey begins precisely where darkness consumes absolutely everything. The Savute Basin, Botswana, a barren depression exceeding 100 square miles, where the roaring Savute Channel vanished in 1981. For nearly 3 decades, water disappeared, and thousands of elephants lost their ancient migration routes to the Okavango Delta. Artificial waterholes were excavated amid the cracked earth, a human solution that tragically became an ecological trap. Instead of dispersing across vast wilderness, thousands crowded around tiny water points, cramped, exhausted, and utterly exposed. This extraordinary concentration penned an unprecedented chapter in the history of the African savanna. Amidst the dense herd, a pregnant female plods heavily, her belly swollen after a 660-day gestation. "660 days, nearly 22 months, the longest pregnancy among all terrestrial mammals." Surrounding them, females form a loose defensive ring, ears flared outward, intercepting acoustic signals human ears could never perceive. The commander is the matriarch, possessing a brain weighing nearly 11 pounds, the absolute heaviest of any land animal. This brain holds more than a map of water sources for hundreds of miles. It is the herd's living library. Every threat, every roar, every dangerous scent across 6 decades encoded within the densest neural network in the natural world. The matriarch communicates via infrasound frequencies below 20 Hz, beneath human hearing, traveling as seismic waves exceeding 6 miles. Other elephants feel these signals through their souls, each vibration carrying a command: advance, halt, or flee. Yet her most extraordinary ability is selective hearing. She can distinguish individual male lions by their unique acoustic signatures. A familiar roar from an aging northern male, the herd continues moving peacefully. But a strange, deeper, more resonant call from an uncharted direction prompts the matriarch to order an immediate halt. A split-second decision built upon 60 years of accumulated memory is precisely what separates a surviving herd from a fallen one. Yet even a 60-year-old intellect has limits. On Savute's darkest moonless nights, the matriarch loses her greatest advantage, her vision. Elephants possess poor nocturnal eyesight, and this is exactly when the Savuti lions emerge. When the matriarch falls in a night ambush, the herd loses something invaluable, a generational navigation system accumulated over decades. A younger female steps up, but her memory spans a mere 20 years compared to the 60 years of experience just eradicated. The orphaned calf, barely months old, stands beside its mother's body, its trunk gently caressing her head. Researchers call this mourning. Another female approaches and nurses the orphan, a cross-lineage adoption rarely witnessed anywhere else on Earth. The herd survives but loses its navigator, now forced to travel further, drink less, and embrace greater daily risks. Generational memory is severed. From here on, every decision begins in complete uncertainty. The remaining elephants must rely on the young matriarch's inexperienced judgment, paying the price in mistakes the old herd never faced. Yet the matriarch's killers, the Savuti lions, do not act out of malice. They hunt because they have no alternative. Between August and November, rains cease and migratory species abandon the basin: antelope, zebra, young buffalo, all vanishing alongside the water. Only elephants remain, comprising over 90% of the total surviving biomass across the Savuti plains. With nearly 30 members to feed, the Savuti pride must consume twice the food of an ordinary lion pack. They evolved into something no other African pride dared attempt. They became highly specialized elephant hunters. Their primary weapon is not strength, but darkness. Savuti lions strike on moonless nights, when elephants are practically blind. Researchers Derek and Beverly Joubert documented between 1993 and 1996. The pride felled one elephant every 3 days, 74 in 3 years. Their success rate surges in pitch blackness and plummets during a full moon, as light allows giants to spot enemies afar. An attack can rage for hours, and victory is never truly guaranteed. Their tactic is incredibly complex, leaping onto the elephant's back, gripping with claws, and dragging prey down using body weight. An adult elephant can swing its trunk to hurl a lion dozens of feet away. But on Savute's darkest nights, when every advantage favors the predator, even the matriarch cannot withstand the onslaught. One side relies on 60 years of memory to evade danger, the other utilizes darkness and teamwork to exploit every vulnerability. Yet dominion in Savute is no eternal privilege. When nomadic male lions invade the territory, the power hierarchy is ruthlessly overturned. They depart, leaving behind only fading dust in the distant memories of the savannah. Hundreds of miles east, the Zambezi Valley swelters in the October heat, a period locals dub the suicide month. Temperatures frequently exceed 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Dense air hangs like boiling steam above the baked earth. The pride, recently exiled from Savute, arrives with dull coats, protruding ribs, and deeply ravenous eyes. In Savute, they held a numerical advantage. Here, that edge is obliterated, facing prey that is smaller, swifter, and infinitely more vigilant. Their nervous systems remain untempered by failure, leading to their very first fatal mistake, pure impatience. They launch their assault too soon, too loudly shattering the golden rule of predators. Wait until the target is weakest. The prey reacts instantly, sprinting, raising alarms, and vanishing before the lions can close the distance. Dehydrated, exhausted, and stripped of confidence, the young lions experience being counter-surveilled by the very creatures they wish to hunt. Their every move is monitored by piercing eyes from above, scent-detecting snouts afar, and an unprecedented cross-species warning network. But amidst the impatience of these novice hunters, the eldest lioness, the mother of the pride, teaches a profoundly different lesson. She lies motionless in the shade for hours, gaze fixed on the water's edge where buffalo will drink at dusk. The lesson is simple but brutal. Those who wait, eat. Those who rush, starve. The young hunters observe their mother, learning to restrain their predatory instincts. They begin realizing that stillness is the bedrock of strategy. And their first true test in the Zambezi arrives not from a fragile victim, but from the most dangerous adversary this pride has ever faced. The Cape buffalo, an aging bull, weighing over 1,500 pounds, sporting swept-back horns tarnished black by time. These old bulls left the main herd long ago past their breeding prime, forming small bachelor groups of 2 to 5, wandering the fringes. The Zulu call them dagger boys, the mud boys, for their habit of wallowing in sludge for hours to regulate body heat and suffocate parasites. They appear slow, worn, and solitary, but hidden beneath that weary facade is something no young lion possesses: decades of survival experience. No longer protecting calves, no longer competing for mates, all the dagger boy's energy focuses on one sole purpose: self-preservation. Every predator encounter is logged in a behavioral library, a vault of experience no textbook could ever provide. And the most critical lesson in that library is a singular rule: face them and strike back. As the young hunters charge, the old bull does not retreat a single step. He pivots, lowers his heavy brow, and instead of standing still, over 1,500 pounds of muscle roars, charging straight into his enemies. This tactic completely shatters the lion's instincts, evolved to pursue panic, fleeing prey turning their backs. To fell a massive target, lions need prey to run so they can leap aboard and drag it down. But when the quarry willingly transforms into a frenzied tank, crushing everything, the inexperienced lions completely lose their absolute control. Hard-earned experience and pure aggression save him from the apprentice lions. But do not let this victory deceive you. Data from Kruger National Park reveals a cruel paradox. Dagger boys are 5 to 7 times more likely to be killed by lions than herd buffalo. Because, stripped of the protection of thousands, these solitary old bulls will ultimately succumb to more seasoned, veteran lion prides. It is a calculated trade-off, nutritional freedom exchanging for risk, a gamble where only experience keeps the better alive. The scars on their hides are not merely remnants of the past, they constitute a survival map every lion must learn to read. Looking upon it, mature lions intrinsically understand this is an adversary far better left alone. The adolescent lions depart empty-handed, and their first Zambezi lesson is carved into bone. Raw power is meaningless when the hunted outsmarts the hunter. Yet dagger boys are not the greatest threat to the young pride's success. The savannah's sprawling intelligence network is the true terror. High atop granite boulders flanking the sandbanks, chacma baboons, southern Africa's most intelligent primates, stand upright at nearly 4 feet, observing absolutely everything below. They possess trichromatic vision, similar to humans, a rarity among mammals, an evolutionary advantage, eluding most other beasts traversing these plains. This three-color vision pierces the lion's golden camouflage amidst dry grass, rendering perfect, meticulous stealth utterly useless. Their rotating sentinel system operates day and night. One keeps watch from above, while the rest forage below. When a sentinel spots a lion hundreds of yards away, a single alarm bark echoes, and this signal is not just for their own kind. It is an interspecies broadcast. Warthogs, impalas, even birds all decode the baboon's cry and react with profound immediacy. The element of surprise, the lion's paramount weapon, is completely neutralized by a single, resonant sound. The warthog, seemingly bulky and clumsy, but never mistake its rugged appearance for its capability. With a low center of gravity and immensely powerful hind legs, it hits speeds of 30 to 31 miles per hour when provoked. Add its ability to turn sharply in tight spaces, a feat a 400-pound lion could never hope to mimic. As the warthog zigzags across rugged terrain, the lion's sheer mass becomes a burden every turn, sacrifices momentum. Every leap drains double the energy. The chase ends in less than 20 seconds. The warthog vanishes into an earth burrow. Brute strength is entirely futile without a tactical understanding of the terrain. The second lesson the savannah imparts to these young lions: what do you think helped the young pride survive this ordeal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Under such immense pressure, the lions begin climbing leadwood and acacia trees along the Zambezi, shattering their image as absolute ground lords. Aloft, convective breezes provide cooling relief, significantly lowering their body temperatures compared to the scorching earth beneath. But the real advantage is visibility from the canopy. Lions can survey prey, moving across vast, sprawling stretches of land. Hunger, the most intense biochemical driver in nature, is fundamentally rewiring their complex neural pathways. Every failure logs a new lesson. Every pang of starvation forces the brain to seek novel solutions, rather than repeating old reflexes. From predators who simply charge blindly at a target, they are transforming into calculating hunters who assess, wait, and choose their moment. Raw force slowly yields to strategic thinking, a spectacular cognitive evolution unfolding right within a single generation's fleeting lifespan. They learn that gravity can be an ally, launching strikes down steep banks, where prey loses balance and cannot hit top speed. They learn that friction is a weapon, luring targets into soft sand, where every single step costs triple the energy. They learn that time is a silent assassin, waiting until the adversary is exhausted, dehydrated, and off guard before delivering the fatal blow. These predators are entering a stage of advanced cognitive evolution, moving from pure instinct to highly adaptive intellect. No new genes are written into their DNA, but their neural networks are entirely reconfigured by experience, starvation, and repeated failure. But this profound test of intellect is not exclusive to pack animals hundreds of miles south. A solitary master proves the exact opposite. South Luangwa, Zambia, 9,050 square miles of wilderness, where conservationist Norman Carr pioneered the walking safari in the 1950s. The Luangwa River, one of Africa's last great undammed waterways, meanders, carving countless oxbow lakes and deeply fertile floodplains. Here, life converges from all directions, yet the ruler of this domain is not the largest or the most populous species. The leopard, weighing between 66 and nearly 200 pounds, stretching nearly 6.5 feet tail, included drifts like a ghost through the Luangwa woodland. Absolute silence is its weapon, and solitude is a strategy refined to sheer perfection. Its coat, adorned with rosette spots that are never identical between two individuals, provides a nearly invisible cloak within the dappled forest light. When darkness falls, the leopard reigns. Supreme eyes, equipped with a tapetum lucidum, reflect light, granting vision 6 to 8 times sharper than a human's. Nighttime means blindness for others, but for the magnificent leopard, it is an absolute invisibility cloak. When the perfect moment arrives, the prey turns its back, the wind blows favorably, and the distance closes to mere steps. The leopard erupts at a staggering 36 miles per hour. The ambush is over in less than 2 seconds, and immediately the kill is hoisted into a tree to thwart hyenas, lions, and scavengers. Immense jaw and neck strength allow the leopard to drag prey twice its own weight high into the branches, a feat unmatched by any other big cat. Yet solitary efficiency has its limits, and those limits boldly take the shape of baboons. When a leopard hunts a baboon, the battle is never simple, for baboons fiercely counterattack with mob strategy. Dozens swarm together, screaming, baring teeth, hurling stones, a multi-generational clash between a lone assassin and an organized, furious army. This is living proof of two opposing paths of intellect. The lion embraces pack hunting and evolves, the leopard chooses solitude and perfects it to the maximum. Every form of intelligence carries a cost, and each holds limits the other cannot reach. But the ultimate final test still awaits ahead. But lions are not the only species to prove that teamwork eclipses solitary strength and further afield. Another creature has elevated coordination into an absolute art. The African wild dog, the sole member of the Lycaon genus, bearing 4 toes per foot instead of 5 like all other canines. Packs range from 6 to 20 members, yet they do not operate under the rule of the strongest. Every pup is fiercely protected and raised by the entire pack, regardless of bloodline. Injured members have food brought directly to them by pack mates, a welfare system no primate society can easily rival. They communicate via intricate body language and low-frequency vocalizations, maintaining absolute silence as they close in on targets without a single howl. The pursuit is not a solo endeavor, but a magnificent symphony of specialized roles, the sprinting vanguard and the flanking interceptors. And the most striking difference: females disperse when they mature, not the males, a complete reversal of almost every other mammalian norm. Their mottled coats, a random splash of gold, black and white, are completely unique to each individual. Every wild dog bears an exclusive identity. But their ultimate weapon lies in communication. They cast votes by sneezing before a hunt, and only when a quorum is reached does the pack strike. An innate democracy, not a byproduct of civilization, but of 40 million years of evolution. Their hunting success rate soars to 80% compared to a mere 25% for lions. They hit speeds of 41 miles per hour, not in short bursts, but in sustained endurance until the prey utterly collapses. They kill not with brute force, but through relentless coordination, taking turns chasing, corralling, and pressing until the target cannot take another step. Yet, this flawless species teeters on the brink. Only about 6,600 mature individuals remain across all of Africa. Of those, fewer than 1,400 are capable of breeding, classified as endangered by the IUCN. With every lost pack, we lose more than a few dozen individuals. We burn down a tactical library crafted over 40 million years. Teamwork triumphs over brute force, but even perfect coordination cannot combat the shrinking habitats caused by encroaching human hands. Returning to South Luangwa, where the Luangwa River flows free, unbroken by a single dam, the wetlands expand under 27 to 47 inches of annual rain. Beneath the murky surface, a shadow rests motionless, only its piercing eyes and nostrils breaching the water. The Nile crocodile, reaching nearly 20 feet long, weighing over 1,500 pounds, possessing an estimated bite force of 22,000 newtons. Yet, that number is not its most terrifying attribute. The true terror lies in its absolute patience. A crocodile can lie dormant for hours, even days, awaiting the exact moment prey steps into striking range, a lesson the young lions starved to learn. But the life cycle of an apex predator does not begin solely with the hunt. A mother crocodile guards her nest for months, shielding the next generation from countless terrestrial threats. Mere yards away, another creature proves that evolutionary logic sometimes defies all our imagination. The hippopotamus, seemingly bound to the land, is actually the closest living relative of whales and dolphins, sharing a common ancestor 55 million years ago. And the strangest fact, hippos cannot swim. They walk along the riverbed, bouncing, stepping, and gliding underwater, utilizing their immense body weight. A pinkish secretion coating their body's hipposudoric acid acts as both a natural sunscreen and a potent antibiotic, shielding them from bacteria in the murky water. Every night, hippos venture ashore to consume nearly 90 pounds of grass, returning to the water right before dawn. Paradoxical adaptation, a marine descendant choosing the river, a non-swimmer living submerged. This too is a form of intelligence authored over 55 million years. But all forms of intellect, no matter how extraordinary, now face an existential threat they never evolved to combat. Lions, only about 25,000 individuals remain across Africa, a devastating 43% decline in just 3 generations. Elephants, roughly 415,000, left plummeting 30% in the last 2 decades. Every poached tusk eradicates a 60-year library of memory. African wild dogs, 6,600 adults, fewer than 1,400 capable of breeding every lost pack, permanently dissolves a 40-million-year-old democracy. From the sun-scorched savanna of Africa to the frozen tundra of the Arctic, the same arms race, different arenas. A lioness twists her body to dodge a giraffe's lethal kick. A cheetah decelerates before delivering the killing blow. Hyenas carry rank etched into their DNA. A leopard hauls its kill into the trees to keep what it has earned. A reindeer shifts the color of its eyes to see through the darkness. A snowy owl counts lemmings before deciding whether to breed. A gray wolf teaches its young to hunt through experience, passed down across generations. "400 million years, billions of generations, and neither side, predator nor prey, has ever claimed absolute victory. Because if the predator were perfect, the prey would go extinct, and the predator would starve in turn. If the prey were invulnerable, the predator would vanish, and the ecosystem would collapse. The race has no finish line. The race itself is the answer. Every second that passes on this planet, one creature is fleeing and another is giving chase. Nothing here has ever changed. And nothing here ever will, so long as life endures. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told. Stories of strength, of intelligence, of the will to survive beyond every limit. Until next time. If you have not yet subscribed, now is the moment. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single story from the wild world out there. A new male lion, his dark mane thick and wild, crosses the territory he has just conquered. Behind him, the body of the old king has not yet grown cold. But the throne demands more than the blood of the vanquished. It demands their future. The male follows the scent of milk. In the low scrub, 3 cubs lie huddled against their mother, tiny lives barely 6 weeks old. The lioness snarls, planting herself between her young and the invader. But 450 pounds of raw muscle shoves her aside like wind through dry grass. Welcome to Nature's Moments, where we step into the most brutal battles of the natural world. This is the Masai Mara, Kenya, where every dawn marks the beginning of a new purge. King of the savannah or cold-blooded executioner, in the eternal purge of these plains, who truly holds the power of life and death? But the lion is not the only one who purges. Beneath every tree, within every thicket, another war is quietly unfolding. The scorching air warps the horizon into shimmering waves of illusion. Across this golden sea of grass, the struggle for power belongs not to the strongest alone. It belongs to whoever is willing to pay the highest price. To understand why the king kills, one must first understand who lives beneath its throne. And that story begins with the fastest creature on the planet, yet the most powerless in the war for dominance. A female cheetah steps from the shade of an acacia. 3 cubs trail behind her, soft silver fur lining their spines. Many researchers believe this silver mantle mimics the appearance of the honey badger, a creature few predators dare confront. But the hypothesis remains hotly debated. The mother cheetah pauses, scanning the open grassland. Two black lines run from the corners of her eyes to her muzzle, not decoration, but natural bioengineering, reducing sun glare and sharpening her vision in blinding light. First target, a warthog rooting in the earth 30 yards away. Low slung, heavy set, armed with razor-sharp tusks. The mother launches, 70 miles per hour, but only for 20 seconds. A spine supple as coiled steel, each stride spanning 25 feet, 3 to 4 strides per second. But speed carries a price. The warthog pivots, dropping its center of gravity. Its tusks sweep sideways like sickle blades. The cheetah's light frame her supreme weapon in the chase, now becomes her weakness against an opponent that is low, heavy, and armed to the teeth. The lunge falls short. The mother retreats, panting hard. Failure. But 3 hungry mouths still wait. And on the savannah, there is no second chance for those who hesitate. The mother shifts her focus. A male impala grazing 600 feet away. This time, it is over in under 12 seconds. Her coiled spine unleashes its full range, semi-retractable claws gripping the earth like the spikes on a sprinter's shoe. The impala falls. Canines clamp the throat. Precise, cold, flawless. But instantly, the mother collapses beside her kill, jaws agape, breathing at 90 to 120 breaths per minute. Oxygen debt, the toll that every chase exacts without mercy. And here is what few realize. It is not the speed that burns the cheetah. Their core body temperature sits at just 101 degrees Fahrenheit while running. The true fever strikes after, when the fear of losing the kill floods the body with adrenaline, sending core temperature soaring. Stress, hypothermia, an invisible enemy. It is not the chase that burns them, it is the dread of what comes next. "15 minutes. That is all the time the mother has before another predator scents the meal. In the Serengeti, only 5% of cheetah cubs survive their first year. 5% fewer than the fingers on one hand. Siblings stay close, learning to stalk through small prey. Every mistimed pounce, every premature sprint, a lesson etched by an empty stomach. But the greatest threat does not come from other predators. In 2023, GPS data from 53 individuals tracked over 8 years revealed that as temperatures rise, cheetahs are forced to hunt at night, increasing their overlap with lions and leopards by 16%. Climate change is stripping them of their only advantage, daylight. And when the night belongs to stronger hunters, cheetahs lose more meals than ever before. "10,000 years ago, a near-extinction event drove the species through a devastating genetic bottleneck. Sperm genes and immune genes were pseudogenized, rendered useless. To this day, their genome is still paying the price. Globally, only around 6,500 adult cheetahs remain. 91% of their historic range has been erased. Fewer cheetahs walk the earth than seats in a small stadium. And just as the mother teaches her cubs to survive, the greatest threat appears. Not hunger, not disease, lions. A lioness leads a small pride toward the thicket where the cheetah family rests. Not out of hunger, lions rarely eat cheetahs, but on the savannah, every competitor must be eliminated. The mother cheetah bolts, not fleeing, but acting as a decoy. She gambles her life, drawing the enemy in the opposite direction to buy her cubs precious seconds. The lioness gives chase briefly, then abandons the pursuit. The cheetah is too fast, not worth the effort. When the mother returns, 3 small shapes lie frozen like stones in the tall grass. Instinct has saved them this time. But speed can only save the one who runs alone. Burdened with 3 small lives, the fastest creature on the planet becomes the most vulnerable. And that is the first law of the purge. On the savannah, love is a burden, and a burden is an invitation to death. Months later, the cubs have grown bigger and stronger. And elsewhere on the savannah, an alliance is taking shape. Three male cheetahs brothers move as a single machine. A coalition, a brotherhood forged in blood, is the secret weapon of the fastest species on Earth. Alone, a male cheetah can only bring down a gazelle or an impala. But when 3 brothers coordinate, the boundaries of the possible dissolve. Today's target, an adult ostrich. The largest bird on the planet, weighing twice as much as a cheetah, with a kick delivering 500 to 2,000 psi, enough to shatter a lion's skull. The chase erupts. 3 wind-cutting machines launch at maximum velocity. No relay hunting here, the coalition casts its net at full speed. They tighten the noose in perfect rhythm, sealing off every turn, forcing the massive body into a stumbling loss of momentum. The ostrich crashes down, but even grounded, its legs tipped with claws sharp as blades kick in wild fury, ready to tear open a hunter's belly. "30 seconds. Finished." But victory exacts its toll. All 3 collapse, gasping. Oxygen debt collects once more. For the next 15 to 20 minutes, they are nearly helpless, unable to run, unable to fight. And that is when true power speaks. A male lion emerges from the east. No hurry, no need for speed. He knows the three exhausted cheetahs have no choice but to walk away. The lion strides to the ostrich, lies down, and begins to eat a feast for which he has not shed a single drop of sweat. Speed creates opportunity, but power decides who feasts. On the savannah, the fastest serve the strongest, a law older than the grass beneath their feet. But lions do more than steal kills. They also destroy the future of others. And what happens next will prove that on the savannah, no one is safe, not even those who hide in the shadows. Sunlight filters through the riverside canopy, painting dappled streaks across the damp earth. Here, less than half a mile from the open grassland, another kingdom exists, silent, vertical, and deadly. This is the domain of the leopard. A young leopard, 3 years old, drapes itself across a marula branch, tail hanging loose, eyes half shut. Below, a small herd of antelope drifts past. The young leopard's body is a feat of engineering in its own right. A floating clavicle unattached to the skeleton allows the shoulders to rotate freely when climbing and leaping. Massive pectoral muscles absorb the shock of landing from heights of 16 feet. Capable of leaping up to 20 feet horizontally and 10 feet vertically, figures no other felid on the savannah can match. It leaps, no hesitation. 16 feet of freefall, gravity fused with muscular force, transforming 110 pounds of flesh into a living projectile. Canines drive precisely into the nape of the prey. One bite, one instant, over. Gravity plus fangs, a killing formula that 40 million years of evolution have honed to perfection. But the young leopard does not stop at ground level. Its true kingdom lies above, where slender branches become highways, and every leap is a gamble between life and death. A troop of vervet monkeys moves through the canopy. The leopard gives chase, sprinting along branches as though in flight, vaulting from tree to tree, defying a 20-foot drop below. The vervet monkeys shriek, scattering in panic, but the leopard is faster. It snatches one midair, two bodies falling together, then claws bite into bark, halting the plunge in mid-descent. In the trees, the leopard reigns supreme, but every crown has its cost, and a throne is never shared. Right here, on this very territory, another battle is boiling over, not between species, but a bloodbath between two generations. An aging leopard, fangs worn, muzzle crossed with scars, patrols the borders of a territory held for over 7 years. But time spares no one, not even kings. The young leopard appears. This is no accident. It is a deliberate challenge, a declaration of usurpation. The two face off. Guttural growls rip through the forest, silence. Claws dig deep into the earth. The battle erupts, swift and savage. In just a few blood-soaked seconds, psychological pressure alone has decided the outcome. The young leopard falters. It realizes that muscle alone cannot crush the stubbornness of one who has danced with death for years. It retreats a step, then turns and melts into the darkness, a temporary concession. Science calls this intraspecific combat the fiercest competition in nature, where the most terrifying enemy wears the face of one's own kind. The aging king has just proven to the next generation that time may be closing the chapter on a legend, but to clear the path for ambition, the challenger must pay in blood. October, Masai Mara. The Great Migration is surging through hundreds of thousands of wildebeests streaming north from the Serengeti, turning the savannah into a churning black river. This is the season of plenty, the time the entire savannah depends upon. And within the pride, it is the lioness, not the male, who is the true hunter. The lioness begins her work. The target, a stray wildebeest weighing close to 1,100 pounds. She launches from behind, hind legs driving hard, her full weight crashing onto the prey's shoulders. The wildebeest buckles. Jaws clamp around the throat, not tearing, suffocating, precise, patient, until the prey's chest rises no more. All around, the migration flows on. Thousands of wildebeest pass within feet, and not a single one pauses. On the savannah, grief is a luxury every species abandons first. These bloody feasts of the fat season are an investment in the next generation. Four months later, the rains have woven the savannah into an endless carpet of green. In a sheltered rock den, a lioness gives birth to 3 cubs. Tiny, barely 3 pounds, each eyes sealed shut. Their coats covered in dark spots, strikingly similar to a leopard's. Those spots will fade as they grow, giving way to the golden coat of the savannah's sovereign. But in these early weeks, they resemble anything except lions. The mother moves dens constantly every few days. Not for comfort, for scent, the smell of milk, of newborns, of afterbirth, all of it, a beacon for every predator within half a mile. A rare moment. The father visits. The male, 450 pounds of muscle and mane, settles beside his young. The three cubs scramble over his thick mane, gnawing at his ears, swatting at his tail. No growling, no threat. Just a fleeting peace amid a war without end. Research from 2024 reveals that lionesses actively relocate to distance themselves from unfamiliar males, proof that on the savannah, maternal devotion is not merely instinct, but strategy. But peace never lasts. Night falls. The sun sinks below the horizon, staining the savannah the color of dried blood. And elsewhere, where the darkness belongs to another, an entirely different empire stirs awake. This kingdom does not belong to lions, nor to leopards. It belongs to a species the Ivana has taught to be born in violence and raised by it. The spotted hyena, a carnivore science once mistook for a canid, though in truth it stands closer to cats and its society is more complex than either. As darkness swallows the savannah, hyenas rise from their dens dozens strong, moving like a disciplined army. And that army obeys one iron rule. Every female outranks every male. A matriarchal society, no exceptions. The smallest female in the clan still dominates the largest male. Power here is not measured by size but by bloodline. Their weaponry is virtually unmatched. A bite force exceeding 1100 psi, a BFQ of 124, the highest pound for pound among all mammals. For comparison, lions possess greater absolute jaw strength, but relative to body size, the hyena reigns supreme. Those jaws are not built for intimidation, they are built to pulverize bone. The hyena's stomach is a natural chemical reactor. With a pH near 1, its acid is potent enough to dissolve bone entirely within hours. But horns and hooves resist. Even this, they must be regurgitated as compressed pellets, a reminder that even nature's most efficient digestive engine has its limits. And far from Kenya to the west, where Zambia unfolds beneath a different sky, the struggle for power takes an entirely different shape. Kafue National Park. 8,650 square miles of Miombo woodland, flooded grassland, and winding rivers snaking through Busanga Plains. Zambia's richest wildlife arena, where lions, leopards, and hyenas share borders with crocodiles. The Lunga and Lufupa rivers cut across the park like twin arteries, sustaining every living thing from bank to bank. In the wet season, the waters rise and flood. In the dry season, they recede, and all life converges on the last remaining pools. The purge does not end at Kenya's borders. Here, it merely changes form. High above, the African fish eagle perches atop a dead tree along the riverbank. Striking in its snow-white head and breast, set against powerful dark brown wings, it is the true sovereign of these flooded skies. With a wingspan stretching to nearly 8 feet, it plunges toward the water at dizzying speed. Talons, sharp as fishhooks, lined with tiny barbs beneath each toe, lock onto even the most slippery catch. Its grip is powerful enough to hoist fish weighing several pounds clear of the surface. Not content with fish alone, even young Nile crocodiles and small water birds fall within its hunting range. And when its piercing, wild cry rings across the marshes, it has earned a name, the voice of Africa. But beneath the surface here, in the murky current of the Lufupa, a silent sovereign waits. The Nile crocodile. 12 to 16 feet long. Jaws that slam shut with staggering force, yet the muscles that open them are so feeble a person could hold them closed bare-handed. A perfect paradox of evolution. It lies motionless beneath the water, only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface. Not a ripple, not a trace. Then, in less than a second, it erupts. An explosive lunge the prey never has time to register. The jaws snap shut. The death roll its body spinning, tearing flesh through torque rather than bite force. A technique 100 million years old, unchanged and needing no improvement. The crocodile's hierarchy is simpler than the lions or the hyenas. The largest dominates. The oldest eats first. No alliances, no revolutions. Only size and time. A crocodile that has lived 70 years has watched dozens of lion kings rise and fall. But even the king of the river can be gentle. In 2005, research by Almli and colleagues first documented mercury in the livers and kidneys of Nile crocodiles from the Kafue and Luangwa rivers, concentrations reaching 3.7 micrograms per gram of tissue. African crocodiles rank among the most mercury-contaminated crocodilians on the planet. Mercury accumulates through the food chain from small fish to large fish to crocodile, and the apex predator at the summit bears the heaviest burden. A purger being purged by something it cannot see. Temperature and mercury. Two invisible enemies that no fang or claw can fight. Lions purge through strength. Spotted hyenas purge through numbers. Leopards purge through daring. But in Kafue, the most silent purge of all comes from what no creature can perceive: rising temperatures and heavy metals seeping into the groundwater. The same pattern of power, the same fight for survival. Only the threat has changed, and this new threat has no enemy to bite back against. Beneath the Kafue sunset, the Lufupa's surface mirrors a blazing orange sky. An old crocodile glides into the current and vanishes without a sound. On the bank, a pride of lions rests kings of a territory they never truly control in full. The purge across the savannah has no final victor, only those who survive long enough to become the next purger. Every creature is a piece in a flawless system where the death of one is the overture to another's life. A covenant sealed in blood, bound by instinct, and sustained for eternity by the sheer will to exist. And somewhere on the Masai Mara, in the glow of a new dawn, a young lion, the surviving cub from the slaughter at the start of this story, stands upon a rocky outcrop, gazing across the territory below. A mane beginning to grow, fangs beginning to lengthen, and in those amber eyes, the same fire his father carried, the one who killed to seize power. The cycle begins again. Thank you for journeying with Nature's Moments. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told until the next adventure. If you haven't subscribed, now is the perfect time. In the heart of Africa, on grasslands that stretch to the horizon, lies a kingdom shaped by the sun and the seasonal rains. This is the Serengeti, a name that means the land of endless plains. Here, the sun is no gentle friend, but a formidable monarch. Its light bakes the air, creating shimmering mirages on the golden plains and parching the cracked riverbeds. Life here is measured by the ability to find shade and the patience to wait. In the lingering morning mist, a pack of African wild dogs begins to stir, fluidly, in unison, as if sharing a single heartbeat. Their footfalls are nearly silent, ghosts gliding over the arid earth. They are pack hunters with a deeply cohesive social structure, where a dominant pair breeds and others help raise the young by sharing food. This cooperation gives their pups a far higher survival rate than those of most other predators. Each dog wears a unique coat pattern, a means of rapid identification amidst the speed and distance of a long chase. Their large, rounded ears not only dissipate heat but also capture sound with extraordinary acuity, allowing them to track the movement of prey from afar. Their communication is subtle and discreet, relying on high-frequency sounds and gestures, ensuring precise coordination without alerting their quarry. Before each hunt, the pack performs an energetic greeting ceremony, reinforcing bonds and synchronizing their strategy. They rely not on explosive power, but on phenomenal stamina, able to maintain a high speed over great distances until their prey is exhausted. Their hunting success rate is among the highest of any terrestrial predator. In the distance, a herd of wildebeest moves slowly, their heads rising and falling in a familiar rhythm of vigilance. Their grey-brown coats, high shoulders, and powerful forequarters give them a gait that is both cumbersome and enduring, perfectly adapted for long journeys across the plains. They are herding grazers, depending on synchronicity and sheer numbers to minimize the risk of predation. During the Great Migration, their numbers can swell into the hundreds of thousands, forming an almost unending river of life. They can sense signals from their kin with remarkable speed. One individual reacts, and the entire herd is instantly in motion. Keen eyesight and good hearing help them detect danger from a distance, but they often act only when the signal ripples through the herd. Yet this very reliance on collective reflex can leave them vulnerable to a persistent hunter. When panicked, the herd can descend into brief chaos, creating isolated individuals, ideal targets for a predator. The chase begins not with a burst of speed, but with a steady, relentless pace. They take turns leading the pursuit, maintaining continuous pressure, a tactic that gradually wears the quarry down. They do not need an immediate kill, only to apply pressure until their prey can run no more. But the Serengeti does not operate on instinct and biology alone. In the culture of the Maasai people, this is the land that runs on forever, a place where every creature carries an ancient story. The Maasai tell that, in the beginning, the predators vied for dominion over the plains in a battle without end. The lion, with its power and pride, declared itself king. The wild dog, with its unity and intelligence, believed true power lay with the pack. To end the dispute, the creator, whom they call Enkai, set a law. Each would have its own path to survival, and none would take it all. And from that, two strategies were born, never crossing, yet always in parallel. On the other side of the plains, a pride of lionesses moves in silence, their bodies held low to the ground. Their tawny coats blend perfectly with the dry grass, rendering them nearly invisible in the early light. They are the embodiment of ambush, powerful muscles, stealthy movements, and an explosive burst of speed over short distances. Within the pride, it is the females who are the primary hunters, working together to encircle and isolate their prey. Retractable claws and soft paw pads allow them to approach with barely a sound. Their target today is an African buffalo that has strayed slightly from its herd. A formidable mass of muscle, its every step slow but heavy on the dry earth. The African buffalo is one of the most dangerous herbivores in the Serengeti. They are aggressive, quick to react, and willing to fight back. With a thick boss of horns that fuse into a shield-like helmet, they can toss or gore a predator with a single charge. They typically move in large herds for defense, maintaining a tight formation with adults surrounding the young in the center. When threatened, the entire herd may turn to counterattack instead of fleeing, a rare tactic among grazers. But a lone individual becomes a potential target. The lions lock their gaze on the target, lowering their bodies, using the terrain to conceal every advance. Then comes the explosion. But a reflection of ancient laws where every strategy has its place. As the sun climbs higher, the mist vanishes, revealing a seemingly peaceful savanna. But beneath that calm facade lies a complex network of interactions, where every creature plays its part in the endless cycle of life. But out on the vast grasslands, another power reigns not through darkness, not through intelligence, but through raw, overwhelming force. Lion, the only big cat on the planet that lives in groups. And a lion pride is not a family, it is an empire. Lionesses are the backbone of the pride. Leaner, faster, their short coats blending into dry grass. They are the primary hunters coordinating in seamless crescent formations, driving prey into kill zones. The lioness hunts through profound stillness. Pale golden fur dissolves into sun-bleached grass. The body presses flat against the earth, each step advancing as slow and sure as a rising tide. When the formation is set, a single short growl gives the command. Success rates double when lions hunt as a coordinated team. One misses, the next is already in position. That is not luck. That is tactics. A male lion weighs up to 400 pounds. Slower, bulkier, but that is the cost of carrying weaponry. The mane is not ornament. It is armor shielding the neck and vital blood vessels from a rival's fangs. A single male patrols a territory spanning up to 260 square miles. His roar registers at 114 decibels, as loud as a rock concert, and carries clearly for 5 miles. That is not simply a roar. It is a declaration of war and a warning, all at once. The average male lion holds his throne for just 2 to 3 years. And yet, surrounding the continents of our world lies a kingdom far greater in scale and far more merciless. A realm where the raw, elemental power of water dictates every boundary of existence. To truly witness the thinnest edge between life and death, we must leave behind the warm earth of the African continent. Come with us now into the cold, the dark, and the utterly unforgiving depths of the brutal Pacific. A dark shape rockets upward from the abyss. In less than 2 seconds, triangular teeth shatter the surface and seize a seal swimming above. The breach of a great white shark, violent, precise, merciless. This is not an action sequence from a film. This is breakfast. And it happens every single day, in an ocean that covers more than 1/3 of our planet's surface. The Pacific Ocean. 64 million square miles of water stretching from the Arctic to the Antarctic, from Asia to the Americas, larger than the total landmass of the entire globe combined. Nearly 10 times the area of Russia, the largest country on Earth, And that entire body of water is in constant motion, constantly changing, constantly sustaining millions of species. Ferdinand Magellan named it Pacific, peaceful, when he crossed it in 1520. But the name is a grand deception. Beneath that seemingly tranquil surface lies a vast aquatic desert, where there is no bush to hide behind, no cave to shelter in. Every creature must move without ceasing, hunt without rest, flee without pause. The average depth exceeds 13,000 feet. The deepest point, the Mariana Trench, plunges to nearly 36,000 feet, a place sunlight has never reached. From surface to abyssal floor, the Pacific holds more than half of all the ocean water on the planet. A three-dimensional world with no walls, no fences, and nowhere that is truly safe. Every species is simultaneously predator and prey. A shadow 6.5 yards long, 2 tons of muscle, 300 teeth. The great white shark. The great white is a masterpiece, sculpted by 400 million years of evolution. A torpedo-shaped body, skin covered in microscopic tooth-like scales hard as armor, slicing through water with near-zero drag. Dark grey above, pure white below, a flawless camouflage system known as counter-shading. From above, it melts into the blackness of the deep ocean floor. From below, it vanishes into the sunlit surface. The prey never sees it coming. Its hunting strategy is devastatingly simple. Ambush from below. It descends into the darkness, lies in wait, then launches vertically with explosive speed reaching 25 miles per hour. The force of the breach is so immense that the entire 2-ton body clears the surface, a terrifying aerial assault that leaves a seal with virtually no time to react. That moment, from the instant the shark leaves the deep to the instant the jaws snap shut, unfolds in less than 1 second, faster than the prey's own reflexes. But speed is only one component of this machine. Along the snout of the great white, thousands of tiny pores house sensory organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, capable of detecting electrical impulses as faint as 1/1000th of a volt generated by the muscles of nearby prey. Even when the prey lies perfectly still, its heartbeat emits an electrical signature, and the great white reads it. Vision, hearing, electroreception, touch. The great white shark is a complete early warning system honed by 400 million years of evolution. It existed before the dinosaurs, before the trees. Its auditory system detects low-frequency vibrations from over a mile away. An ultra-wide field of vision eyes positioned on either side of the head scans nearly the entire surrounding space. Its teeth, roughly 300 active at any given time, arranged in 5 to 7 rows, are serrated triangular blades. And they never go dull. Old teeth fall out, new ones grow in continuously throughout the shark's lifetime, up to 3,000 in a single life. With large prey such as elephant seals or sea turtles, the great white does not bite to kill immediately. It employs a tactic known as the investigatory bite. One deep, devastating strike, then it retreats. It waits for the victim to bleed, to weaken. Then it returns to finish, cold, calculated. No energy wasted. This is not blind instinct. This is strategy. Off the coast of Guadalupe Island, Mexico, researchers have observed great whites returning to the same hunting grounds year after year, evidence of a remarkable spatial memory. Each great white possesses a unique pattern along the trailing edge of its dorsal fin, like a fingerprint. This allows scientists to identify and track individual sharks across decades. The great white is a solitary creature. It does not hunt in packs. It does not share territory. The world of the great white is one of calculated solitude. No allies, no family, only itself and the sea. But even the apex of the food chain has something to fear. The orca, the killer whale. When orcas appear, great whites vanish. Not a tactical retreat, a flight. Researchers have documented the phenomenon. After an orca kills a great white and consumes its liver, a massive organ, rich in oil, accounting for roughly 1/4 of the shark's total body weight, the entire local population of great whites abandons the area and does not return for weeks. The creature that sows terror, it turns out, knows terror itself. At the edge of a coral reef, the shadow of a great white glides past. Below, a creature 20 times smaller senses the threat through vibrations in the water, through the darkness sweeping overhead. A hawksbill turtle stops feeding and begins to flee. The hawksbill, one of the most beautiful and most critically endangered sea turtles on Earth. IUCN classification: critically endangered. Its shell, a breathtaking mosaic of amber and deep brown, was once the very thing that drove humanity to hunt it for centuries. A mature adult weighs roughly 175 pounds, with a shell measuring 26 to 37 inches in length. Minuscule compared to any of its enemies, great whites, tiger sharks, bull sharks, saltwater crocodiles. But it possesses something its predators do not: the ability to thread through crevices in the reef that no large creature can follow. A flattened body, a thin shell, and two pairs of flippers equipped with sharp claws, allowing it to grip rock and haul itself into the narrowest gaps in the coral. The hawksbill also plays a vital ecological role. It feeds almost exclusively on sponges, organisms that most other species cannot digest due to their toxicity. By controlling sponge populations, the hawksbill helps maintain the health of the coral reef. If sponges proliferate unchecked, they smother the coral, killing the entire ecosystem. A species teetering on the edge of extinction, whose disappearance could trigger the collapse of coral reefs across the Pacific. And there is one particularly extraordinary detail. The sex of hatchlings is determined entirely by the temperature of the sand in which the eggs incubate. Warm sand produces females. Cool sand produces males. As global temperatures rise, the ratio tilts ever more dramatically toward females, threatening the long-term reproductive viability of the entire species. When nesting season arrives, the gauntlet becomes longer than ever. Only 1 in 1,000 hatchlings survives to adulthood. One in 1,000. And those that do survive will repeat that epic journey for the rest of their lives, alone. But not every species in the Pacific fights alone. A few hundred miles from the hawksbill's reef, a strange sound resonates beneath the waves, thousands of high-frequency clicks interspersed with distinctive whistles. A pod of bottlenose dolphins is assembling, and they are not fleeing, they are preparing for battle. Measuring 7 to 13 feet in length, weighing 330 to 1,430 pounds, the bottlenose dolphin is the perfect antithesis of the hawksbill turtle. Where the hawksbill is solitary, dolphins live in groups from a few dozen to several thousand individuals. Where the hawksbill flees, the dolphin stands and fights. Their brain is among the largest relative to body size in the entire animal kingdom. And that brain is equipped with echolocation from the melon on the forehead. The dolphin emits high-frequency clicks. Sound waves fire outward, bounce off objects, return through the lower jaw, and assemble into a three-dimensional acoustic map. They see with sound in murky water, in total darkness. Echolocation never fails. But what is even more extraordinary is the signature whistle. Each dolphin possesses a unique call, distinct from every other individual. It is their name. Members of the pod call one another by name. When danger strikes, they whistle their names in warning. A society with language, with individual identity, with collective tactics. When they locate a school of fish, bottlenose dolphins do not simply charge in. They take turns, each dolphin surging forward, using its powerful tail fluke to stun the fish before swallowing them whole. Every dolphin assumes a specific role: the herder, the encircler, the striker. And they rotate, ensuring every member of the pod is fed. A complete military strategy executed by creatures with no hands, no weapons, only intelligence and mutual trust. When a dolphin is injured or ill, the pod does not abandon it. They support the wounded member at the surface so it can breathe, sometimes for hours at a stretch. In certain populations in Shark Bay, Australia, dolphins wrap their snouts in sea sponges when probing the sandy seabed for fish, a tool-use behavior passed down from mother to offspring across generations. Dolphin society operates on a fission-fusion model, groups constantly splitting apart and merging back together, fluid as the water itself. There is no fixed territory. When food is plentiful, groups merge into superpods. When food grows scarce, they break into smaller units to reduce competition. The orca, the killer whale, belongs to the same suborder, Odontoceti, as the dolphin, but is 3 times larger and hunts with even greater organization. When orcas appear, bottlenose dolphins close ranks, form a defensive formation, and if possible, flee. Same lineage, same intelligence, different size. And in the ocean, size is still the ultimate currency. And perhaps the most astonishing detail of all, the bottlenose dolphin never truly sleeps. It practices unihemispheric sleep, resting only one half of the brain at a time, keeping one eye open, always scanning for predators. A creature that is never fully off guard, because in this ocean, closing both eyes may be the last thing you ever do. The survivor in the Pacific is not the strongest, nor the fastest. It is the one that cooperates best. But in this ocean, whether you hide or fight, whether you are tiny or colossal, fear never ends. Because even the giant creatures weighing tons, stretching yards upon yards, must be afraid. At a depth exceeding 1,000 feet, where sunlight is nothing more than a fading memory, a colossal silhouette glides through the silence. Two wings spanning 23 to 30 feet wider than the wingspan of any bird alive. The manta ray, the gentle giant of the ocean, weighing over 2 tons, it is one of the largest fish on the planet. But unlike the great white, the manta ray has no serrated teeth, no venom, no offensive weaponry. It is a filter feeder, a creature that sieves the sea. It possesses the largest brain of any cold-blooded fish, a brain-to-body ratio that dwarfs those of all sharks, tuna, and swordfish. Long-term memory. Complex social behavior at cleaning stations where small fish remove parasites from its skin and mantas queue in orderly lines as though they understand the very concept of waiting one's turn. Some studies suggest that the manta ray may recognize its own reflection, a cognitive feat so rare it is shared only by great apes, dolphins, and elephants. A lifespan of 40 to 45 years longer than many species of shark. When feeding, the manta performs a barrel roll, spinning continuously through the water column to maximize the volume of plankton filtered through its gaping mouth. Sometimes multiple individuals align in sequence, forming a feeding chain to exploit dense plankton blooms. The currents generated by those enormous wings are powerful enough to sweep along small fish, shrimp, and even divers who venture too close. But there is one final predator, one that stands outside every food chain, threatened by no species, yet threatening them all. This predator has no fins, no fangs, no ampullae of Lorenzini. The ultimate predator is us. The hawksbill turtle, critically endangered. Its amber shell is still traded on the black market. Its nesting beaches are swallowed by resorts and drowned in artificial light that disorients hatchlings. The bottlenose dolphin, thousands perish each year as bycatch, entangled in trawling nets, accidental deaths that no species has evolved quickly enough to avoid. The manta ray, listed as threatened under the United States Endangered Species Act. Its gill rakers are harvested for traditional medicine, despite zero scientific evidence of any efficacy. The great white shark, tens of millions killed every year, the vast majority for their fins alone. A single bowl of shark fin soup is erasing the apex predator of the ocean. The Pacific is under siege from overfishing. Fish stocks depleted faster than they can replenish. Millions of tons of plastic drift across the surface and sink to the seabed, infiltrating the food chain from plankton to whale. Plastic, the invisible enemy. A single piece fragments into millions of microplastic particles mistaken for plankton, ingested by small fish, accumulating in the bodies of large predators and ultimately arriving on our own dinner plates. Climate change is not merely altering temperature, it is redirecting ocean currents, shifting where plankton congregates, redrawing the entire map of migration. When the foundation of the food chain shifts, the entire ecosystem falters. Oil spills, ocean acidification. Rising water temperatures trigger mass coral bleaching, the homes of thousands of species vanishing in a matter of weeks. The ultimate predator has no fins, no teeth, yet its destructive power surpasses anything the ocean has witnessed in 300 million years. And nothing escapes. But the Pacific is also telling another story, one of recovery.